Welcome to the Black News Network, your source for news from a Black perspective. We're here to cut through the noise and bring you the unfiltered truth. No sugarcoating, no spin, just raw, honest reporting.
This is Wall Smith with the Black News Network, BNN 247, coming at you once again on this wonderful broadcasting day. We have a different topic that you may be interested in because it's about money. And it's about the money that you should have received a long time ago and all of the dilutions that exist surrounding us receiving reparations. So without further ado, I'm going to go ahead and dive into this because it is very important to Black people that we know what the status is of our money. I mean, I'm going to go way back from slavery days, 1619 to 1865. Our people were enslaved and they were tasked to make white people wealthy. And that's basically it. I'm not saying rich. I'm saying they made white people wealthy. The Black people made so much money for them. And let's say back then, if they made $100,000 a year, that was close to 10 million. That was a lot of money. So they made it probably was more than that, but they made all this money for them. And we received nothing in return for what we did to bring them to stardom with all of that money. Now, we did that while getting beat, raped, molested, and every damn thing else you can think of. Killed, body parts chopped off, hung, shot up while we hung up, burned. All of these atrocities existed during slavery, and yet our people were able to make a profit for the white man. Now, I don't want to make this presentation sound like I'm gonna be bashing the white man all day, but I'm not. I'm just going to give you the raw truth, and I'm going to give you that because in Texas they create so many barriers to the truth that it makes me believe that you're intentionally shooting to erase the contributions and history that our people, our forefathers did and our ancestors did for the white Americans. And without further saying, you already know the country is built for white people. All the laws on the books are for Black people to keep us in check, to keep us in control. And I'm bringing you up to a level where you're right here where I'm at when it comes to what's actually happening with this reparations deal. Black people did their part, despite all the other interferences that went along with it. They did their part. And there's so many things that came out of it that we really went numb to fighting, because it seems as though the more we fight to get something done, the more we are isolated to get it done by our damn self. And one person can't fight no damn corporation. One person cannot fight no damn country, because that country will not send one person to defend itself. They're going to send every damn thing they got. And it's going to be the money that they made off of our ancestors' back. Now, that money did not disappear. There's no way these millions and millions of dollars disappeared. These millions and millions of dollars were passed down from generation to generation to generation to generation. And that reminds me of something that our people would say, not necessarily our people, but people would say that white people plan for generation after generation after generation. Black people plan for what we gonna wear to church on Sunday or what we gonna wear to the club at night. Ain't that some shit? But it's like that because we were denied the opportunity to become smarter. And we had the things that we learned the hard way. And some of us were murdered behind learning stuff that we should have been knowing. It was against the law for a black person to read. It was against the law for a black person to write. So understanding all of these atrocities that were inflicted on our forefathers for over 300 years, nearly 400 years. And then years after that too. So it didn't end after slavery ended on January 1, 1865. It did not end then. You know, the black codes were introduced, and the black codes were introduced because when they were writing the United States Constitution, the story of slaves came up, and they said, well, these are all white folks. How can we free these slaves? Who gonna do the work? We have no one to do the work. So one of those bright, smart individuals that lazy ass didn't want to do a damn thing came up with, hey, let's invent the incarceration system. Now, if you go to the 13th Amendment, you're going to see in there where it says, except for people who violate the law. Now, who writes the law? We don't. Us people don't write the law. They do. And because they write the law, they write it the way they want to. So when they were forming the Constitution, the U.S. Constitution, they were also forming the prison system to reintroduce free labor to the farmers by virtue of incarcerated people. And once that was understood by the country, then it took off like a rocket. We freed the slaves, yes, they did. And this is so treacherous. The United States government promised all slave owners that you can receive up to $100 if you liberate a slave. Per slave, you will receive up to $100, providing you liberate that slave. So naturally, these white folks looking at dollar signs, they don't give a damn. Don't nothing really add up to me, because I'm gonna just go back. I gotta keep bringing this kind of stuff up because it makes you really understand the magnitude of what has happened here. Because you mentioned reparation in passing. A lot of people don't want to talk about it. Oh man, we ain't getting no damn reparations. They just don't want to deal with it. But how can you not see the elephant in the room? You may be working in corporate America. Look around right now. What do you see? You damn sure don't see a whole lot of us. You damn sure know that we don't own that damn business. And you damn sure know that you are probably not getting paid more than that dumbass white boy sitting next to you. That's the problem. And we have suffered this up until this day. The fighting methods changed. Back when we were slaves, they could do all this stuff to us and get away with it because the United States had set up a law saying that You can beat your slave to death. All you got to do is say you were trying to train him and he didn't learn it. So you kept disciplining that slave and you end up killing him. And that's basically standard protocol for them killing a black person. That already tells you that nobody's going to get prosecuted. And you've seen that from the Civil Rock, the Little Rock Nine. You've seen it from the Mississippi Red Summer when they got killed down in Mississippi, Neshoba County, Mississippi, where all the people that were seen killing these 3 kids walked from that damn courtroom. You saw it in the Medgar Evers trial. You saw it in the Emmett Till situation. It never went to trial because the Ben Bryant, I don't remember his first name, they operated a store in Money, Mississippi, and the black people are the ones who supported that store because they would go there all the time, put it on the books, put it on the books, put it on the books, and at the end of the week, time to get your paycheck, you get a $9.59 paycheck because you done spent all your money up at the owner of the plantation store. So my point is, we have to be a little better about what is actually happening here. And we cannot not stare. That's what I said. We cannot not stare at that elephant in the room. And the moment you ignore that elephant, your ass gonna get trampled. And you're gonna get pushed farther and farther and farther back in the corner. And if you have children right now, your children will grow up suffering the same shit that you suffer because you did not take an active role in eliminating the racist bigotry that they do in our environments. You know, somebody got to be a sacrificial lamb. And I'm going to be honest with you, I've put myself out there so many times it ain't even funny. You know, I fought and fought and fought and fought and fought, always by my damn self. And that's the part I really couldn't understand. Why no one would ever fight with me. The moment I get some momentum going, they come up with all kind of bullshit that slow you down or to get you out of it. Anyway, I can get on my soapbox. But reparations is very, very, very important to us. And we got so many problems when it comes to reparations that we have to eliminate first. Because if we don't eliminate these problems first, then all it does is dilute the money that is supposed to go to descendants of slaves. Now, when the Indians were classified as Indians and they were being given special privileges because they were Indians, white people started putting Indian on their damn birth certificate. What I was going to say a second ago, you got to have 3 things to be human. Humane. You got to have a soul, you got to have a spirit, and you got to have a body. Now, if you don't have all 3 of those, then you might as well say you're the devil in shoes. You are the devil with a pair of shoes on. Most Caucasians, white people, they have a body. But for the atrocities they did to us, I cannot understand how one would believe that they have a soul and that they have a spirit. Because it seems as though if you had a soul and a spirit, you would be in torture right now. if you were white, because you've done the atrocious things that is not acceptable in humanity. That's the very reason we seek reparations. We have a soul and we have a spirit and we have a body, and we are always willing to forgive what you did. But first, you need to apologize, which only one person apologized in the 44 presidents or the 42 presidents, and that was Bill Clinton. And it wasn't a direct apology. It was an indirect apology, and it didn't seem sincere because it never was mentioned again. Not even on the news. Nowhere it was mentioned again. The news system rolls with the punches because they want the rating, and that's what they're trying to get, the ratings. They don't give a damn if they're right or wrong. They want to get those ratings. Making amendments for a wrong, that is what America needs to do. They have to make amendments. So in 2021, Senator Jackson, that's all I can remember right now, she introduced H.R. 40. And H.R. 40 is a commission to study and develop reparation proposals for African Americans. And again, it was introduced on January 4th, 2021. Oh, it flew through the House of Representatives like everything else does most of the time. That's right. It'll fly through the House of Representatives, but the moment it hit the floor in the Senate, that shit died so damn fast it ain't funny. You know, it took a long time to get the George Floyd Act passed. We never got the Edmund Pettus Bridge changed to John Lewis' name. Things that are proposed in Congress never get anywhere if it's got us going somewhere. You know, in Texas, we have this thing called critical race theory. If a teacher, this is in schools, public schools, if a teacher taught Harriet Tubman and said more than she was a train conductor or some bullshit like that, then they could be fired and sued for a substantial amount of money based on Gregory Abbott's decision to impose critical race theory. And the critical race theory been around for 50 years, but it has never been implemented. Now it's being implemented, and no one can speak of the atrocities that the white man did to our people. No one. They don't want you to know. They don't want to hurt the little white boys and little white girls' feelings. So they do not tell our children our history. I can guarantee you, you ask a child right now, 6, 7-year-old child, who discovered America? What do you think he's going to say or she's going to say? Columbus in 1492. You're going to talk about the Indians, the Cherokee, the Choctaw, the Chickasha, all these Indians. But you never, ever will hear them talk about our history, which is the longest, most atrocious history of this country. It's a black eye to the USA. And you got your ass all over there in Israel, effing up they shit. See, you're giving Israel money to bomb Hamas. And then you're giving Hamas truckloads and truckloads and truckloads of rice and beans and shit. Like you a damn humanitarian. You ain't shit because you will not face up to what you have done. You know, if a child come to you and tell you a lie as a parent and you already know the truth, then your objective is to coerce your child. You might as well tell me the truth because I know what you did, son. You might as well tell me the truth. I know. Lying will get you nowhere. Lying will condemn you. That is why we have fallen from the grace that America once had, because the truth is in the pudding and it's out there. And when people see the truth, they don't want to believe it. But you hear Africans from Africa all the time going to the United Nations and the World Court talking about America did us wrong, and they won't admit it. And every damn white ass president, even the black one, get up there and act like they don't know what the fuck going on. Excuse my language. That just pisses me off when I get on this topic. They act like they don't know that they screwed our lives up. We all, I don't think there's one person alive today that don't need therapy. One black person. Every black person alive today need therapy. We have emotional problems. We have anger problems. We have relationship problems. We have road rage problems. We got shit going on in our heads that is genetically imposed on us that we don't know what the hell it is. So then you go to the doctor, the first thing they want to do is give you some antidepressant pills. Like, I ain't depressed. I got something else wrong here. I got it in my damn DNA. And the only way you get it out of my DNA is to give me a couple of $1 million, then I could probably feel better. But if you don't give me the money, I still got it. And that is why many people go to the extreme to get the benefits that they deserve, and especially in the military. Especially there. They are racist too. You know, they tried to get me early on in my little military career, but somehow I beat it. They isolated me. They sent me to the damn. You remember when they talk about how you're going to get sent to Timbuktu out in the middle of nowhere in Anchorage, Alaska, some damn where nobody will know that you're there? Oh, that shit happened to me 1, 2, 3 times. I'm a black man from rural Mississippi, Plantationville. I was intelligent enough to go to a recruiting school in the Army, and they sent me to Massachusetts to recruit, about 45 minutes outside of Boston. Not a black person in sight, not one. There were some Africans, there were some Puerto Ricans, but not a single damn black person there. In Worcester, Massachusetts. But when I got there, the first thing I said, "Where's Worcester?" Because that's how it's spelled. But you know, you got to park the car. They got this little New England accent that just makes me sick, because it makes them think that they're the elitists of the country. It's sad up in that area. But if you go up there, you'll see the land where they took from black people, right across the Old North Church. From the Old North Church is a cemetery in Boston. And they took that land and made it a park, just like they did in New York with Central Park. Black settlements were there all over the country. They taken shit from us. Kunta Kinte, and you know, I realized that was a movie, but the scenes in that movie represented a lot of what they really did. They cut Kunta Kinte's foot off because he tried to run away. They beat Kunta Kinte because he would not accept the name of Toby. And you wonder why don't he just go and call himself Toby? You know, he didn't call himself Toby because it was a separation from his ancestors to lose his Kunta Kinte name, and start and become Toby. What's said but not written in America, a black person's history did not start now. Listen, a black person's history did not start until the end of the Civil War. How the hell are you going to erase hundreds of thousands of years of history because you want to say history is irrelevant unless it is written down? Well, then throw the Bible in the garbage too, because it was stories passed down. Not a single story in the Bible was written in first person. Not one story out of the 66 books. That's a refined copy, the King James version. There was like 84 books in the Bible when it was originally translated. But when King James, with his gay self, got a hold to it, he threatened the scribes that if you don't get this done by this time, I'm killing all y'all asses. I'm getting rid of you. So they wrote what the hell they could write to get that shit done. When you put under that kind of pressure where you're going to lose your life if you don't do this, shit, what do you want me to call this here? This is a water bottle in my hand, but I'm going to call it a dagger. You know, they wrote it and they accepted that as law, as the biblical truth sent down from God and Jesus. And every single story in that Bible, you can see the names that are used were African names, but they changed them to white folks' traditional names. John, Luke, Mark, Paul. Why are they names okay? But then you got Exodus, Deuteronomy. You got all these other names that are reality names that would be appropriate to the time of the Bible. But then you got these other names. Anyway, back to HR 40. I can go off like that and just keep going. It was a proposal for African Americans to receive reparations, but it was a study, and it got all the way to the Senate in 2021 within a few weeks after it was proposed, and it died in the Senate. So the U.S. government never did implement that that reparations study. It was supposed to do. It was supposed to address the injustice, the cruelty, the brutality, the inhumanity of slavery from 1619 to 1865. Now, if they did that, they would come up with a significant reason why all the money that's allegedly in Fort Knox belonged to us, Black people, original slave descendants, because we talking this reparation shit, but I'm just gonna tell you that's gonna be the biggest farce ever happen in this country if they ever say we're gonna award you payment on one-time basis for reparations. That's going to be the biggest loss we ever suffered. It's going to be worse than slavery because they already know soon as they give us this money, what we're going to do. We're going to go out and get some 32-inch rims on a raggedy ass car. We're going to go out and buy some old piece of shit off the junkyard and get it at a 31% interest rate. Or we're gonna go like what's the boy named Mayweather when it paid $10 million for a freaking watch. And he probably can't even tell time. I'm just saying, why would you spend $10 million on a watch? Then you got all these rich athletes. They get a little money, and then the first thing they do, they go buy this 35 bathroom mansion because some other white person had it. So they go get it so they can feel big, they can feel rich. But see, while the police walk around in their blues, right? They're in their uniform. But if you take that uniform off, what are they? They're the same damn thing you are, a person. That's it. But when they put that uniform on, they think they are more powerful than anyone. The reason I say awarding us plain money settlement for reparation would be a problem is that's a one-time thing. If they decided to, all right, everybody that's a descendant from slave will no longer have to pay taxes, then all right, we're getting somewhere now in this country for life. Your descendants don't pay and their descendants don't pay, and for the next 25 generations. We can put a number on it, but the bottom line is let's put the number on it. Okay, so now we will be getting tax-free sales for the next 25 generations. We can also say that reparations would have to be land-based because power is in the land, the real estate. If they give us tax exemptions, they give us a minimum of 40 acres, and we can buy additional acres if we want. And it could be any damn where. I don't give a damn where it's at. Give it to us. It's descendants of slaves. So land, tax settlement, and then a cash settlement. Every month you receive what, $5,000 or $1,000 a month. It don't have to be that damn much, but it never stops. Every person that it is a descendant in your line receives $1,000 a month for their life, their children's life, the grandkids' life, and the great grandkids' life. For 25 years, everybody receives $1,000 a month. So these are just some simple ideas of reparations that we can impose on America to take care of us. And the moment they award us that and admit the truth that they have done what they've done to us, America gonna drop so damn fast in the ranking of the world, it ain't gonna be funny. Because they are only there because other countries know that they're ruthless. When they do what they do to their own citizens, they know that these assholes will do the worst damn things that you can do to somebody. Ask Hiroshima and Nagasaki. Nobody else on the planet ever exploded a nuclear weapon except this country. Nobody. And then they go on this rampage trying to make sure nobody else got a nuclear weapon. And if you got plutonium plants or any other kind of damn plants, we're going to blow that shit up. Because we ain't letting you build no damn bomb material for nuclear bomb material. America has to admit that they did these things to us. And not just slavery. You can't get somebody up there. Well, we are America. We admit that we enslaved black people in America and we apologize. F that. I don't want to hear that. That's the wrong damn answer. Reparations, again, is the cessation. It's the assurity of non-repentance or non-repetitiveness. It's restitution. It's preparation. It's compensation. It's satisfaction. And it also is rehabilitation. In other words, those are the steps that America has to take every slave descendant through in order to make it right with us. And if they don't take it through like that, they're not going to ever make it right, because these are the things that they have to do. They have to admit what they've done, and they have to cease what they are doing to us now. They got to give us assurance that they will never do something like this again. They got to pay us our restitution. And then reparations comes next. Now, restitution and reparations are different. They're not the same. They have to give us our compensation. So compensation and reparation and restitution is not the same. Now, this is off the government's website now, what reparations mean. We have to be satisfied that the American government did what we wanted them to do. And then we have to be rehabilitated. In other words, we got a 25 generation access to free mental counseling, mental health counseling, because we got to fix that shit. Oh, let me say this while I'm thinking about it. Public schools have implemented in Texas that critical race theory, and they've threatened to sue teachers who said anything about successful Black people. Get your kids out of them damn public schools, because public schools are controlled by the government. I am absolutely sure you can find a charter school for your child that's 25 times better than that bullshit at that public school. There's food that they feed the kids at public school will make a horse puke. Everything in there is not real. Not real. They feeding these kids grass patties with hamburger flavor. They feeding these kids chicken grown in labs, the meat grown in labs. They test a test base. The public school system is a test base. Now I saw a video a month or two ago about what they feed the kids in Japan. They get well-rounded whole meals. You know, in that bullshit pyramid, that 4 squares on a circle that says this is how your plate should look. That shit ain't right. You have to know that you cannot eat steak every damn day and be healthy. You have to know that you cannot eat fried food every damn day and be healthy. You have to know that drinking in moderation, sodas, and you know, some people drink a liter of Dr. Pepper or Sprite every damn day. That shit kills your kidneys and your liver. You got to get wise, people. It's been so long since I drank the soda. I think I haven't drank the soda in the last at least 5 years. I don't drink soda. And I don't drink it because I know there's something wrong with that soda. You have to be smart. And if you don't start to get smart as Black people, as a Black culture, then we will perish. We will perish. Reparations is a good thing for us, but until we unify and go after reparations as a group of people, we're screwed. And I say the best for last. The next part of what I want to talk about is reparations for African Americans. Now, how many Black cultures do you think are on this planet? There's a Black culture in every single country. What is it? 254 countries on the planet. Every single country has a black culture. Japanese got a black culture. Koreans got a black culture. Russians got a black culture. Chinese got a black culture. Just because they're communists, that don't mean black people ain't over there speaking Mandarin and every damn thing else that they speak. But they are they have to deal with racists in China as well. So don't think just because they're from another country that they are different. They're treated the same. They're treated the same as America treats us. And where do you think they learned it from? America. Race didn't come into play until the early 1800s, where there had to be a distinction between light-skinned people and dark-skinned people. Some people were so talented, black people, that they could pass as white in their society and live as white and marry as white and have white babies. But them black women that might have with the husband, a white husband, and then she gets pregnant, and then she birthed a black baby. He gonna know something wrong here, sister. You're not white. He gonna know. So these things happen, and white folks kill those babies. They killed them. But my point is, you got Jamaicans. Now, once they say they're going to give Black Americans, descendants of slaves, reparations, which is inclusive of all the things we've talked about, guess who else going to become Black Americans? Haitians, Jamaicans, Africans from Africa. All these people, we're going to have to fight off the damn ship because they're going to want reparations too, and they got the skin tone to prove it, but they don't have the heritage to prove it. We all know that all Black people down this peninsula came from Africa. We know that. But just because they came from Africa, that don't mean they are U.S. citizens. And even if they are U.S. citizens, they're not descendants of slaves. And then you want to wonder why Black people that are descendants of slaves don't get picked for the key positions. Barack Obama was not a Black man that was a descendant of slaves. He was not. He had a Belgian mother and an African daddy that educated that boy well. He did not have a blemish on his record. Probably still don't. That's the beauty of how this country works. They promote and elevate people that are not descendants of slaves. A descendant of slaves is the last person that they will recognize. But let a Jamaican come in there or an African come in there, they gonna give them the red damn carpet. And we got a situation here in San Antonio that I talk about every year because we got a guy, I don't know his whole name, but they call him Show. Show is a bona fide African with South African citizenship. But he came to San Antonio about 10 years ago. And he started this marketing thing. Now, Africans usually get a better education. Some of them a lot smarter. They get, he had a marketing background. So in San Antonio, we have the Martin Luther King March, which is supposed to be the largest in the country. And every year, the city donates or puts out $50,000 to $100,000 to put that march on for our community. But, you know, the march is no longer Black. It's probably 70% Mexican, probably 10% white, 5% all others, and 25% or 15% black. Yeah, I mean, it's like pepper sprinkled through all the salt. You know, we don't have that as our footprint here in San Antonio anymore. And yes, it may be the largest march in the country, but it's not a black march. And back to Show came in and proposed something to the city. And he proposed this thing called Dream Week, the week of Martin Luther King's birthday. He called it Dream Week. And he would do this A, B, C, and D. And all he needed to do all this, if you cut me a check for about 50,000. And the city did it. You know, he stood up there in the city council with his African accent and asked for the money, and they gave it to him. And you know where they got the money from? They got it from the black Martin Luther King March people. And when they took that money from the black folks, all hell broke loose in this small black element of people that participated in that and putting that march on. But black people will die and fight for positions like that to do a march because shit, I'm gonna make me some money. We got another thing going on Juneteenth, which is where General Garrett came down to Galveston and made the Texan officials release the slaves on June 19th, 6.5 months after the Emancipation Proclamation. So Texas owe way more than most countries or most states for reparation because Texas did keep people in Texas kept people in slavery for 6 more months, and they had to be forced to let them go. They did. But Show got that $50,000 and they took it from the Martin Luther King March. And like I said, all hell broke loose because the commission, the Martin Luther King Commission, black one, split into two. Now there's a two black Martin Luther King commissions. One's a nonprofit, one's an agent of the city. Neither one of them doing shit. Just like we probably got 3 black chambers of commerce here. We got the African American Chamber of Commerce, we got the Black Chamber of Commerce, and we got the African Chamber of Commerce. And all that bullshit, neither one of them doing a damn thing for the people. I opened my business here and I went to the Black Chamber of Commerce to get help because the Chamber of Commerce is responsible for promoting your new business in their city to all business owners and all the city. They're responsible to make sure everybody know that you're opening your business here and that they need to come and support you. So I went to the Black Chamber of Commerce and I asked them probably over a course of 2 months to help me get off the ground. And they didn't do a damn thing. I went over to the Mexican Chamber of Commerce and I had probably 150 people. They brought the ribbon, they brought the scissors. Excuse me, they bought everything over there. And the chamber came over, the Mexican Chamber of Commerce was there, all the board members. But I couldn't get shit out of the Black Chamber of Commerce. We got to do better. You know, if we want the U.S. to give us reparations, we're going to have to represent ourselves. And we're going to have to isolate ourselves from the Trinidadians, the Chinese black folks, the Japanese black folks, the German black folks, the Mexican black folks. We got to isolate African black people who are descendants of slaves. I mean, everybody at one point can say that they are descendants of our culture, but they cannot say that they are descendants of slavery here in America. We're the only ones that can do that. And in order to get your reparations, you're going to have to prove your lineage back to your slavery ancestors. That's why in states now, they want you to not to talk about your ancestry. They don't want you to know your history because they trying to disconnect you from what you really own. You're the rightful owner of the land. You're the rightful owner of all the profits that they passed down generation after generation. Why is it that everybody in the United States Senate rich? They were probably, some of them are wealthy. How can all these folks get that much money? They got it because it was passed down from their ancestors generation after generation after generation. There's only two ways you're going to get rich in this country. And rich ain't all that. So I don't want to make that impression. You're going to either get rich through insurance, having insurance on someone that you care about, and that you want to see that they have a beautiful sending off. You have to have a life insurance on them. And more likely, if they're over 40, it's going to be a term life insurance. If they're over 20 and 25, that you can get a whole life insurance. That's one way you're going to get rich, through insurance. The second way is through inheritance. But if you think you're going to go out there and make $1 million just working your ass off, doing a 9 to 5, you're never going to make it. You're never going to get to that pinnacle level. And, 1 out of 1,000 may do it, but the majority will not make it. They will not make it. And the second thing about what I'm thinking about right now is you eventually want to retire from your job. Not counting on that damn reparation shit. You want to retire with your benefits. So my advice to you is to start right now retiring. In other words, you're going to need money if you get 50 years old, you should be able to walk off your job and never look back and receive money every month that will sustain your livelihood and your family. Because, and if you don't feel like you're going to make it to that level at 50, then you should be taking a definite vacation every damn year. Because if you wait till you're 70 to retire, you're going to die in 2 years or 3 years or so. You might well get it done over your life while you still got enough juice to go do something. You ain't going to have no juice to go do nothing when at 70 years old. You're going to be sitting down waiting to die. Start living your life now and stop expecting the federal government to do right by you, because they will not. It will not happen. Our discussion today has been about making amendments in America for what they did wrong to us. We've talked about HR 40, and you can pull that up if you really want to know what it is. HR 40 is a commission to study and develop reparations for African Americans. It's a reparations proposal for African Americans. Never went anywhere. And you wonder why. Look around the Senate at Joe Biden's speech last night and tell me how many dark faces you see. The lady named Green sit up in there with a Make America Great Again hat on. She got her nose all up Donald Trump's ass. Kelly Conway used to be his spokesman, and he kicked her to the curb. And her husband kicked her to the curb too, because she would get out of bed for Donald Trump. Shit's sad. So know that it is going to come a time where America has to pay us. And if you don't have your lineage in order, then you may be overlooked. And if you don't get it together soon, you will be overlooked. So my recommendation is get your shit together now so you can be prepared when the bricks start rolling. Team up with somebody, form an organization that studies your ancestry and reparations, like the Moors. Now, the Moors is a different type of elephant in the room. Everybody, every black person that are descendants of slaves are Moors. But if you don't know it, they've been hiding it from us for so damn long. We don't know who we are. We don't have a connection to our ancestry. Once you establish that connection to your ancestry, you're going to find out that their religion was Islam and not this bullshit Baptist Catholic shit that they got going on here. Every one of these little religions that that our people practice here they were made to do this, and now they're perpetuating from it, and the preachers are getting in there taking poor people's money, and they're driving Bentleys and wearing $1,000 shoes, $5,000 suits. And you got parishioners out there that can't pay the damn rent, but you want them to sow a $500, $1,000 check, and they're gonna get blessed because of that. Goddamn lie. This is the Black News Network, BNN 247, the real voice of Black USA, broadcasting live on a regular basis. Pay attention. You can catch us on YouTube and on many other platforms. My name is War Smith, and I want to thank you for listening today. So have a great and prosperous evening.
Thank you for watching the Black News Network, where we bring you the news from a Black perspective. From challenging politically correct narratives to uncovering the unfiltered truth, we're dedicated to keeping you informed and empowered.